Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Shapeshifters. I have no doubt you heard of them. Everyone has at one point. Werewolves, vampires, the million variations we have yet to discover. The idea of living alongside those creatures is fascinating. But what if you are one? My name is Sunny, and I am a shifter.
I love that intro. I have no idea who the voice actor is on that one, so I'm going to have to bring in Connery Catini and say, who is that wonderful person doing the voice for your trailer? And you're going to have to turn a microphone on first.
Thanks for the reminder. Sometimes I keep forgetting because I always mute this to be safe, but sometimes it likes to freak out, so it goes into the red when it shouldn't. It's
Jeffrey
annoying at
Tubin
times.
taught us a very valuable lesson.
So, her name is Jerry. It's Geri. Cher, and she was great to bring on.
I love the whole anime feel of that trailer because it's got the same vocal energy. You know, you get to that end, it's like, I am
Absolutely
a shifter. I'm like, yes, just sell it there.
That was definitely something, because originally the delivery was different, but I was like, it needs more enthusiasm, and it actually goes throughout the whole book, a little bit of that anime aesthetic. So it definitely does appear a little bit throughout the book.
I mean, that's the kind of emphasis you use when you throw a Pokeball. It's just she's ready to go. So you're on your last 6 days of the campaign here?
Yes.
And you're doing okay. It's a flexible goal, so people who backed it don't have to worry about whether or not you're going forward.
Thing is, I do want to bring up, it is flexible, but if we do not hit the 4K, we will refund out of respect, because we thought that we would get it with the momentum we had from before, but the momentum didn't stay as well as I hoped, and it was decided later on that mainly if Ringo's schedule preventing him to work on shift with me to work until November. If we didn't fund, I felt it wouldn't be fair to hold everybody's investment if we don't. So,
well, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess you could have gone with the fixed goal, but I don't know.
I wanted to change it, but I wanted to change it, but Indiegogo said no. So,
once you're started, you're locked in. George Peter Gatsis is in the chat here. Said I could have been a contender. I could have had class. I could have been somebody. Yes, he and Nefarious both were offered this slot on the show, but you got back first. So, this would have otherwise have been another episode of the Marmalade Show with Nefarious on there. But we'll have Marmalade schedule another time with the Global Frequency folk.
Don't worry, Nefarious is still here.
Yeah, so Nefarious has a good question. He says, so if you don't fund, what are you going to do? What are your plans?
So here's what's going to happen. If we do not fund, I will refund everybody and I'll go back to the drawing board. because I'm going to continue funding the book slowly and getting a little more work done before we. Obviously, it's still a little bit of work in progress because we're seeing how Indiegogo's got to do. But one of the more important things is if we do not fund, I will refund everybody, and I will. Sorry, I was just reacting to chat, and I lost my thought a little bit. Hey, Mew. This is preview comics pre-origin.
You're botting out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, fits the theme. So,
well,
one of the things. So if we, as I mentioned before, if we do not fund, I'll refund everybody. And what I'm going to do is I'll bring it back to the drawing board a little bit. I'll get a little more work done, and I'll have to self-fund, which will be a lot slower of a process. And obviously, it's going to be a bit until you see Shift again.
There's another option. We can raise $2,600 tonight and just, not have to worry about it anymore. It is. Well, it's Indiegogo, and it's the last week. People hold their money till the end. So
true.
Share this video out, folks. We'll just make this a big old push stream to get Shift funded tonight. $2,600. We'll do it. How $20? Okay.
I actually got some really cool. One of the things I actually learned recently was some of the. I'm trying to get better as editor in chief, so I actually got this book as a recommendation from Nefarious, the Tiger Spider guy, and Mavericks. He actually recommended this book, which is a good read. I currently got up to about, chapter, if I'm not mistaken, about chapter 2, because I had to read a little bit during class, since it was a bit of a busy day, but it was a really good read, and I'm excited to learn a little more. I also got this one.
Oh, you got more. What else you got there? Oh,
this
Regrettable Superheroes.
Yep.
That's a fun one. I've been thinking about picking up that one as a source for writing stories that, with characters nobody wants to use.
I also got this one as well. They both had them at Barnes & Noble, so it was a great pickup.
Yeah, those are good books. I've seen both of those Regrettable books at the half-price books I go to. So
you should get them because, again, they were a pretty good little read-through.
Yeah, and a lot of them are public domain, so you can try to say, what did they go wrong with this character, and how can I redeem it?
Absolutely. It's actually kind of a metaphor for Shift, actually, because it was like there were some mistakes I made in the past, and I had to be like, how am I going to redeem this? And with a lot of help from not only community support, friends, especially some of the people involved in the project, especially Michael Oden, he was a great help because he was able to tell me, look, you got to fix this. You're screwing up here. You got to fix and improve your buzz.
Yeah.
So he was a great help in the project.
I can tell you that, that carries over from your Indiegogo. I mean, we're in the last week now, so we can pick on the Indiegogo because it doesn't matter at this point if you're going to relaunch, right? But if they read your Indiegogo and they're like, the Indiegogo statements read funny, they might think that the book might read funny too. And just the case in point that's making me say that is I'm reading this first part here under your picture says, meet Sunny. To most inhabitants of Shiobia, she is a normal girl, but Sunny has a secret. That's all written as one sentence, and it's actually 3 sentences. It's meet Sunny. To most inhabitants of Shiobia, she is a normal girl, but Sunny has a secret. So if they see that with comma chameleon, they might think that okay, if he writes that for the Indiegogo, maybe he's going to write that for the book as well, and it'll taint the book. So editing's important all the way across the project is my main message on that.
Trust me, you should actually see the campaign that I changed, because if you actually saw that one, you'd be like, okay, maybe I was mistaken, because one of the biggest problems when I did the edits was I made it more like a merchandise one, and I tried to add too much.
Oh,
and I basically lost focus on the book, and that was a big mistake because
I've seen campaigns do that, and I've seen them around. I can give you an example. Hex Allen's Nephilim Squadron. When I first had him on the show, his campaign was a mobile game. He was trying to raise money for a mobile game, and at the bottom of the campaign, he was like, "And hey, if you want to buy a comic book to help fund the mobile game," I'm like, "Dude, the comic book is where your money's at." So I told him, "You need to shift your focus here and sell your book, and then make money, and then use it to make your mobile game," which he did, and now he's selling. Netflix. Who's the puppers?
Oh, this is Charlie, my little puggy. He wanted to say a quick hello.
Oh, well, hang on just a second here. We'll take the campaign down so that's who again?
Charlie. He's one of my puggies. He wanted to say a quick hello.
Hang on, Charlie.
So there you go, my doggy. Super, get out. You know how it works here. My apologies. My pugs are always like that. So.
Lucy, Charlie?
Come on, please.
You did the snorting.
Someone wants to say hello, Andy.
Looky there.
Andy, look at the screen.
Look at the screen. Oh, you see yourself too, don't you? Oh.
Yeah, I don't think Pandy's interested in that what Charlie looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, pugs are cool, but she grunts and snorts all the time. Does Charlie shed a lot? I've lost your vocals again.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely.
Yeah, so does Lucy. She sheds hair all over the place. I wouldn't have thought that with a short, straight-haired dog. I've had long-haired Persian cats before, and I'd like
you'd be surprised.
No, the cats hold on to their hair much better than dogs do. Oh, so if you have to relaunch shit, and I am sure you're going to, what's your timeline again on that? When do you think that you might actually have to relaunch if you do? If we don't make 2,600 tonight?
If we don't hit the goal in the 6 days, since we went from 7 to 6 recently, one of the things is I'm probably going to go back to the drawing board. I'll try to get some of the work done during the upcoming months, so I have a little more to show off. I'll try launching the pre-launch maybe December, and then go from there, because obviously right now there's a bit of a momentum, and there is a platform that Dragon's building, and I am starting to get more of my order platforms, like my order YouTube channels that have been dormant. I'm trying to get them a little more active, so it's definitely been a bit of a process, and I had made mistakes in the way, so I had to learn a lot.
Yeah, but you've been making the rounds on social media. I've seen you showing up on other people's shows, so
absolutely,
you're developing the network, and that's incredibly important for any kind of business. Whether you're selling comic books or asking people for the privilege to ship them. That's what we do. You got to get to know people. They got to get to know you. That's how you establish trust.
Absolutely. I think one of the big things is that originally I did do that a little bit on the C1028 because I had been on a couple streams, but no one really knew who I was, unless you count Nerdrotic, where I was a member. On the other platforms, it was really no one knew who I was. Let's be honest. It was more like a hi there and then left.
Yeah.
And Dragon was basically a nobody because I just launched the channel, and that was definitely a big mistake. I should have used the older platforms to hype up the project and get Dragon a little more out there. I should have also been interacting more with the chat as well, because it wasn't until Nefarious' stream that I really realized, oh crap, I should have interacted with live streams in the chat more under not only Stick Tenny but also Dragon as well, because they want to know who I am. But when I came into it was a little more of a business perspective, but later on it started a little more. I started getting a lot more personal. I wanted to build a lot more trust after my scripts because they wanted to know who I was because they thought I was somebody who I wasn't.
Sure.
So,
and then there's the other side of the coin. So, hey, how come you're coming in with a different name? Are you trying to hide something?
I think it was my mindset was I wanted to start fresh because the other two were basically dormant for like a year or two, and everything else was hidden because it was collab entries that weren't supposed to be made public since it was YouTube poops. So they usually do not make them public because they got to be exclusive to the collab, and so it was basically a period of inactivity. So I was like, you know what? I don't think that the subscribers are going to come back. Might as well start fresh.
There you go. I see your featured tier here. You had was this a 3D print, it looks like?
No, that is a 3D model of a plush.
Oh, okay. So you were going all in on this one with the Dragon plushie.
It's actually I'll just say tiger spider to make the fairies happy, but
yes, it is a tiger spider. We know I remember the hybrids we created on this show. I'll remember the rest of them as I see them, but yeah, the tiger spider. Although it's not really a tiger, it's
the tail design.
Yeah, it
might be zebra spider next.
I thought it was a leporachnid, but But yeah, that is Sunny. She's both of these characters you see here. She becomes this ginormous, 6'8" armed. No, it's just 6. Hey, she can't be a spider. She's got 6 arms, not 8. So
it is 8. It's just that's the angle.
I got it. The other 2 feet are hidden behind the front feet. Okay.
Yes.
Tiger spider it is. Now I know that you're the creator in this, and I'm seeing Michael Odin's name ahead of yours. So how did that come to be?
Basically, one of the things I wanted to do I got into comics because since I'm on the spectrum, my dad used entertainment, especially the medium of comics, to learn a lot of reading and writing skills. And as I got older, I got invested into the creative side of entertainment. So as time progressed, I started improving my skills and gave me the confidence to start leading my own projects. However, it was the inspiration came during the initial idea. Don't worry, it'll get to Odin. But it was the initial idea came summer 2020 when it was during the darkest time of my life when my family lost several dogs and family members due to a various of it was basically different health issues. Some were just AIDS, and some were some bad cancer and stuff. So, and my dog Bianca was comforting me, and that's when the idea struck me for what would become Shift, because Bianca was in a way the hero I didn't know I needed. So I wanted to make a world where the animals are heroes, and that's where the original idea for Shift came from. It evolved over time, and I created the original concepts of the character in the world, but I felt that the inexperience as a creative inhibited me from really realizing my vision. So, in a way, I wanted to figure out how to make Shift the best it could be. So that's when I approached Michael, and he came in and began translating the initial concept I had into the amazing script and storyline you see here.
Okay.
And his name is over because he was a big part in the project. He also helped out with the cover design, and he also helped out with the Indiegogo page you see here. And since he's a bigger part in the project than me a little bit, because while I'm the editor-in-chief or product manager, it was Odin who really crafted the world with the final script. He was the one who helped out with the Indiegogo, and so that's why he put his name first.
Yeah, and with him coming off the Embrace as he is right now, he's made a big name for himself with that. So that's,
Absolutely.
that should be a really big draw for you guys. And I don't know if maybe people haven't seen that in the promotion of the campaign or not, but
no, it was not AIDS. It was old age.
Old age, yeah. Enunciation matters, Neff.
Yeah, again, I do apologize if it did sound a little iffy because it's hard to talk about. I don't like going back into it at times, but
of course,
it's a part of my journey, so I like to bring it up, unfortunately.
Well, I do like what you said about how your dad got you the comics and entertainment because you're on the spectrum, and you'll find as you read that Understanding Comics book, Scott McCloud dips into this that the brain's divided into two hemispheres. You got the left brain and the right brain, and one side is for language and logic and all that good stuff, and the other side is for art and creativity. And McCloud makes the point that comics is the only medium out there that combines the written word with art so that both sides of the brain are engaged at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. Because I can even give like an example right here. Because this whole page in Mavericks, you can see it's a mix between art and words. And it's a sequence of events that couldn't be done as well in a normal book. So it's done in a comic, for example.
Yeah, you get a comic writer who knows what the medium actually is.
Absolutely.
And 95% of them don't. 95% of them are writing illustrated stories. They're putting word balloons on sequential pictures, and that is not what the medium's capable of doing. It's capable of so much more. You get a Jimmy Gownley in there, you get an Alan Moore in there.
Absolutely.
And you'll get some comics that will just blow your socks off. Because they can't do it in any other medium. It's not possible to accomplish what the book did any other way except that. So let's talk about the book that is going to be made, whether it's in this campaign, if we get the funding necessary, or if it's done later. How big is this book? This is a $20 book, so it's standard price, but is it standard size?
If you go up, it's actually $10. The book. The $20 are actually the deluxe edition.
Okay, so that's the deluxe variant B edition B variant. So it's only $10 for the book. That's a good deal.
Yes.
Was it like 4 pages or something? Come on, this is crowdfunding. I know how this.
It's 25 pages of story and then some extras. So.
What kind of extras are you throwing in?
We have a mini comic at the end, and we have a mini comic at the end and some behind the scenes.
All right, and you're getting into the merch early, and by early I mean first issue.
Yeah.
Were you concerned about that at all? Did anybody warn you stay away from doing that kind of thing?
No. The reason why I brought it here was because I wanted to give backers a reason to back the campaign because I wanted to give them extra. And one of the ways I did that was with the t-shirts, the plushes, because I realized they weren't as expensive to produce. And I was like, well, I might as well have them for the backers because it's a good reward for backing and putting their trust in me early.
I hear that. It's just a lot of times, you'll be warned against going deep into the t-shirt and into the stuffed animal market or the pins and the stickers and everything else with your first campaign because people don't know your book yet. But Nefarious is making some good points out here in the chat too. I say here's the thing about having Odin on the team is you hired him to write for you and he helped you with the campaign page. He's not a creative partner or a collaborator. unless he's changing the story and saying this is what we need to do, and you need
yes,
to
he is changing a little bit of the story. He added some set pieces, and he is a major part. Okay. At least of issue 1 right now. So.
Okay, so he may be a co-creator.
Yes, this incarnation, he is a major part.
Okay. But you're the guy who created Sunny. You created the fact that the world is full of shifters. He may be changing elements of how you present that. He may be like the Bill Finger to your Bob Kane, only maybe perhaps not so much. Because we all know Bill Finger contributed like 95% to the idea that Bob Kane had.
So the difference between the deluxe and regular physical editions is the reason why the deluxe is more expensive is to get a little bit more content. So there's a little bit more behind the scenes, and we're still planning some extra content for it. And I am also planning on printing it on a little bit more higher quality. Like the cover will be heavier and will be a little more high quality. Like the page, I believe it will be a different. Sorry, it was a while since I searched the actual specs. My apologies. So I'm trying to remember them, but instead of like the normal 70 cover and 70 pages, it's going to be a little bit higher with a heavier cover and stuff.
Okay. Now, who did your wraparound cover on the deluxe version?
The first one you see here, it was done by my artist Vingo.
Okay.
And my colorist Laura Adams, because they actually helped do the art, and he did the line work and the designs that really define the world, while Laura helped do the coloring and set the mood for the book.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, Meredith Lauren is in the
hey, Meredith. It's great to see you
in the chat. Hello. And Neff is still trying to set you straight on who's the creator and who's not. And I'm kind of side with him on this a little bit, unless I see something concrete from him saying, "Oh, by the way, I created this other character that she plays off of." Then you got co-creator stuff. But other than that, so what more can we talk about this? I mean, this is a put this last run here. I mean, unless you're resigned to doing the refund, I mean, what do you want to see happen? Are you prepared to do the refund and relaunch, or would you like to get this thing pushed all the way to the end as hard as possible?
I'm still pushing it as much as I can. That's obviously right now the focus is pushing it so that we can get to the goal. Obviously, it's a bit of a struggle since we are only at 36%, but I'm committed to the project, as I always am, because it's basically one of my passion projects. I created this world to be... Basically, it was a concept that's dear to me because it draws from inspiration from comics I loved growing up. And I've always been fond of worlds like Sonic as a nice way to escape. So the World of Shift provided that for me, and I wanted to also provide something else for others as well.
Yeah.
So it's for all ages. That's one of the big things that we push with the book. It's for all ages. We're trying to bring a comic that is made for those who are just starting out, while also being a great comic for those who are older. And the target demographic starts around 10 years old. But I'm hoping it's something that could bring audiences together in a way of how much they enjoy it.
All right. Now, Sunny's actually got 3 forms. We keep seeing the 2 forms here on the book, but as I recall, this world is populated by human-looking characters, and the shifters are this side-by-side race that's with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Sunny's got her human form.
No, there is not a human form.
Okay, so she doesn't have a human form at all. She's always in this humanoid animal-looking form.
Yes.
but she can also transform into this other full animal form.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I thought that they were indistinguishable. So she's not like, she doesn't have the opportunity to hide among people. People can look at her and tell exactly what she is.
She does not have a hide form, but she blends in with everybody else. So
okay. Oh, and there's the wolf shark.
Could you bring up Nefarious Comet again?
Yeah, this
because yes, I am the creator, and I do fully understand.
Yeah, there's a meaning when you say co-creator, because it's if you end up with the next Superman here, your grandkids will be fighting over the rights. We don't want that.
I fully understand, and if there was a bit of miscommunication by me, I do apologize. But obviously, I like to bring up how big people. I lose my thought, but I like to bring up the importance of everybody in the project. And
oh yeah,
while yes, I am a major part, I also like to bring up the others as well, because they have done such a great job. So, yeah. But again, I do understand that he is right, because Odin's not the co-creator. He is the writer, but he's just as important, because he was a great help with the writing for issue 1 here, and he was a major part in the writing process. He was a major part in the campaign, as you see, because this is his work. But I am the creator at the end of the day. But yeah. I don't want to downgrade anybody's importance. So
you have you have the physical book here, and I find it interesting. You've labeled this as the physical book. Generally, that means that there's an alternative, but I'm not seeing it. There's not a PDF alternative. Do you ever intend to do this as digital?
Give me 1 second. Because if you want the digital, how we're doing it is, if you go up, there's a back it button. And how we've been doing it, for those who are unable to, is you could just send the $10 via the back it feature, and we'll label you as a digital backer.
Okay. Nobody's going to know that.
We have been
its own tier block.
It's something we started doing a little later as more people started coming in with the $10 donations, and I've been emailing them saying, "What the heck? Hey, you sent this. Wanted to make sure." So it's only fair.
Yeah,
because obviously we're focusing on the physical, because that's one of the biggest things. Right. But if they need the digital, we do have an option if needed.
Right, but I think if you actually had a digital tier, then you're giving the digital to people who donated. They didn't know they were going to get a digital. If you have a way for people who want digital to say, this is the path to digital, this is the way, then all those digital backers would have responded affirmatively to that. Instead, I think most of them would look at it and say, "Oh, no digital. Let me look for the next one." You don't want to give people.
I'll consider it, but obviously, the main focus is the physical, because that's mainly what we're focused on, because it's the one that we print, and as I've seen before, I love physical. So one of the best things is to have a physical book. But I do understand how
I love
people,
physical too.
I mean,
but I won't buy
understand the need for digital with international times. Yes. So I do fully understand.
Oh, especially with the shipping to Australia lately, it's like gone from like $20-something to $60-something. It's insane. So until Australia becomes a free republic again, I don't know that we're going to be able to ship to them that often. I had a thought. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh well, it'll come back to me. You've got retail tiers here.
Yep. We also have a retail add-on as well.
Okay, and this is what you're going to have to do when you do relaunch the campaign. Pictures on every tier. not your
Yep.
icon. So
It's definitely something we'll keep in mind.
yeah. Because I don't know what some of these are. You got the supporting lovers,
Which is
I came from a website that said supporting lovers the other day, and it was not about comic books. No, I'm kidding. But you know, again, without clicking on it, nobody knows what that is. There's no picture. You gotta engage the eyeballs here. So this is actually digital wallpaper. You get the digital PDF, you get the physical copy, you get cover B and C, you get the plushie. You get a supporting role in the comic, and you get the T-shirt. So this is a lot of stuff in this tier, and I think, you know, if you'd have had the image there, possibility of more backers. You know, you want to hook them. You got to hook them with pictures.
It's definitely something I'm definitely taking into account.
Yeah. All right, so let's see if we've done anything for you here tonight. We'll reload the page. Drum roll. I know you got that extra little bit of a push before we started. We can't claim credit for that. We weren't moving. No, we have done nothing for you tonight, Connery. We've learned a lot about your book. I think we've learned a lot of. I think we've learned a lot about what you learned about your campaign. So I think, you know, we're going to see a campaign that's going to be launched with a lot of stuff corrected, and I think you're going to see a lot more success out of that.
Because I am taking all the feedback into account. Because one of the things is I'm not perfect, and I fully understand that. And when people bring feedback, I take it all into account. Like when I did the edits and people were like, "What the heck, fix it?" I didn't just say, no, it's perfect, because I believe that while I love the concept of Shift and I love to showcase it, I'm not someone who's completely right all the time, because truth is...
Oh, none of us is. Yeah.
Because I have made mistakes, and I fully understand that. So one of the major things was definitely I'm taking all the feedback into account, and I'm making sure that I interact with the community, because, again, I'm a fan of comics, and I want to support others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if things...
Now, Nefarious wants to bring this up here, and again, more things to know. You probably considered this since it is your campaign.
I did consider the printing prices for separating them. I have considered that.
Yeah, because you'll lose. You know, again, if you're going to go with two formats on the first book, you know, you lose that. You know, if you get 25 people buying one and 25 people buying the other, it's more expensive than if you had all 50 of them buy the same one.
Yeah. It's definitely something we considered when we were planning the campaign.
All right. So a little bit more about the world of Shift here. This is issue 1 that you're planning out here. What's the long range goal? I mean, once we get this thing firing on all cylinders and you have a successful campaign, where do you go from there? Is this
it's
series or an ongoing series? Okay.
So if it does fund, we finish up issue 1, make sure it's all delivered, and then we go into issue 2. If we do not fund, we continue development on issue 1, and then once I got more to show, if obviously we don't fund, one of the major things is that I will absolutely make sure that there's more to show so I can improve some of my faults. Because, again, if there's a chance that I did something wrong and I need to go back to the drawing board and think, what did I do wrong? I'm definitely trying to open myself to improving stuff.
Well, Neff's pretty much saying you need an entire comic book company here. You need a story editor, a script writer, because you're not writing the script, which Odin was doing the script, an artist, because you don't do the art. Also, a PR director for marketing and advertising, not a bad idea.
It's definitely something I will consider. Graphic
and
designer,
a graphic designer to do the campaign page. Yeah. By the way, we help people with their campaign pages as part of the whole logistics deal, cradle to grave, get them books created and then shipped. Because the more successful you are on your campaign, the more books we can ship for you.
Absolutely.
That's my shameless plug. Yeah, and Mike was doing the math because I said let's get $2,600 in tonight, and Mike has realized that it would have been $2,522 needed to start this book. So yes, it is a start. 1444 is a start. 2522 would have closed the deal. Didn't happen. I would have loved for it to happen. I really would have. I'd have said, look what happened on our show tonight, guys. Come over and let's see if we can do it for yours. But first of all, I've got to start talking with an Australian accent if I want to have that kind of action happen, and then I have to come up with a clever catchphrase for what we would call that. Yeah, if you've been on Michael Bancroft's show, you know. So, all right. Well, Connery, I think that's about all we can do for you tonight here. I do like that logo, by the way. Who designed your logo?
So Bingo did the first design, that's the basis of it, and then Michael helped out with the logo.
Okay, yeah, I love that whole shifting kind of. That's not a font, that's a design. That looks really good. It looks like things are shifting through the words, and you just kind of have. It's almost like shift is what's left behind of an effect.
It was definitely something that drew me into the first prototype of the logo, so I was like, we should really run with it. So it's definitely something that was planned when, because the first one, it's hard to bring up that one because things fell through with the logo designer, because the logo designer was like, this isn't as good as I wanted, so she dropped out voluntarily, and it's nowhere near as good as this one, let's just say.
Well, this one's really good. So keep that. Don't change that. If there's anything you do carry over from this campaign, it should be that logo. All right. Well, Connery, I think we can just wrap it up and say thank you for bringing Shift to us one more time here. I hope that we will see it again in its next incarnation if you don't make the funding this week. And if you do make the funding, then I hope we're here for issue 2. But
it was a pleasure having me here.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to close out. Folks in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We never have a show without you. So we're glad you're here. If you would, please click the share button so more people can see Connery's work here. Try to get that. Try to get this in front of more eyeballs. That's the key to getting these things successful, is getting it in front of many eyeballs as possible.
Absolutely.
So only you can make that happen. I can put it in front of your eyeballs, but you're going to get it in front of way more than I will if you'll share it. So with that, thank you all for coming. And as always, we just hope